A very good afternoon and welcome to Weekend Central right here on TV3. We come to you from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. Coming up this afternoon. This afternoon, Deputy Chief of Staff at the Presidency, Nana Oye Bampoado, says government is committed to increasing female enrollment into the Ghana Armed Forces GAF. Also this afternoon, Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni urges stronger collaboration among government branches, media and civil society to combat illegal mining effectively. Plus, Acting Registrar of the Allied Health Professionals reveals that over 30,000 graduates of allied health professions remain unemployed across the country. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Do stick and stay with us. Welcome once again to the bulletin. My name is Judith Brown. We start from here. Now, Media General's Godwin Asidiba has won the Journalist of the Year award during the 29th GJA's awards event. Godwin Asidiba was also adjudged the Best Documentaries TV winner. And acting head of the Health Desk, Sarah Penkro, also won the Best Feature category.
There she emerges with very confident strides. Shall we continue to celebrate her with applause as she makes her way here? Who are making inroads into the industry and wanting to make a name and also, most importantly, impact. We congratulate you one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, one more big round of applause.
Media General, congratulations to you.
Can we keep the applause going, ladies and gentlemen? Godwin Asidiba.
Godwin is all the way in London, I believe, but this is very able to. Congratulations, Godwin, wherever you are. Well done. And congratulations to Media General.
Yet, as we celebrate, we cannot ignore the harassment our profession faces. And days ago, journalists were injured in a road accident while curbing illegal mining with the EPA in the Ashanti region. These attacks assault democracy itself. When journalists are silenced, corruption thrives. Past governments have fought Galamsey but lost lives, including the unforgettable helicopter crash. Demand priority action. No story is worth a life, but no society is safe when truth is buried.
While in Kasago, located in the Sagnarigu district of the Northern Region, young boys and girls are abandoning school for menial jobs, a trend largely accepted by many parents. Here are excerpts of the documentary Dreams in Shambles by Godwin Asidiba, aired in April 2024.
I encountered a group of young girls on their way to school, barefoot and unaccompanied. Their vulnerable state stirred both concern and curiosity within me. Why were they walking under the scorching sun, devoid of shoes and supervision? The ground was scorching hot, forcing them to either hasten their pace towards the shade of a tree, to cool off, or to hop on their feet while walking. Some even cried due to the unbearable heat. Wumbe, a mere 4 years old and in primary 1 at Gno MA Primary School, faces the challenge of attending classes while also looking after her younger siblings. She must balance her studies with caring for them while at school. Her little brother is only 9 months old and her sister is 2 years old. Their mother frequently leaves them under Wumbe's care while she tends to her duties on the farm. In this village, respect for the elderly is paramount, so saying no is not an option for Wumbe.
Wumbe, I'm a bear. Bukum Ningda. Abule Bala. Wumbe. Idia. Azbazaz Yibedi.
She silently battles the consequences due to the heavy weight of Wumbe's brother. Radia, Wumbe's slightly stronger friend, helps carry the younger brother as they make their way to school.
Radia, Bozeka Asondo.
Leaving children under the supervision of their older siblings in Guno is a long-lasting tradition in this community, one that is increasingly becoming accepted as the standard practice in schools. Mariam Adam arrives at school with her little brother on her back and her sister walking beside her. Although she is the only one officially enrolled in the school, her siblings must accompany her because their parents are heading to the farm. As classes were about to begin, the reality became evident. The classrooms were predominantly filled with pairs of seniors and junior siblings.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are.
As soon as lessons began, Wumbe found herself constantly distracted by her brother and sister. Maintaining focus for even a minute proved to be a challenge throughout the entire class session. Mariam was also not spared from the distractions. Her younger brother, who initially seemed to be enjoying the class lessons, suddenly became restless. The teacher always had to intervene when they began crying uncontrollably, soothing them until they calmed down. The teachers here are growing increasingly frustrated with the parents' actions within the community.
And those were excerpts of the documentary Dreams in Shambles by Godwin Asidiba. And other news this afternoon, President Mahama has sent a strong warning to community members who attack security officials on illegal mining duties and says they will be dealt with. Speaking at the 29th Ghana Journalists Association GJA Awards in Kumasi, President Mahama noted that government will not relent in the fight against illegal mining.
The theme of tonight's event reminds us that protecting Ghana's future requires a united stand against illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey. This is not a matter of convenience, it is essential for our very survival as a nation. The fight against illegal mining is complex and challenging. Illegal mining has so deeply ingrained itself in the fabric of our society that despite the obvious damage it causes to our environment, entire communities mobilize and confront security personnel when they arrive to combat illegal mining operations in their areas. Only yesterday, I received news of an accident in which some journalists were injured as they retreated from a community mob attack on EPA officials and security officers. I wish to notify communities that attack public officials and security personnel performing their lawful duties that firm action will be taken against them. Yesterday, upon receipt of the news, I instructed the Chief of Staff to contact the journalists who were injured to check on their health and assist with settling any hospital bills incurred.
Now, speaking at the event, the Acting Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Paul Bafoboni, emphasized the need for a strong and strategic partnership among the executive, legislature, judiciary, media, and civil society organizations to sustain the fight against illegal mining.
Illegal mining, or galamsey, remains one of the gravest challenges confronting our country. It has destroyed our rivers, poisoned our soil, and displaced communities. But beyond the visible scars on the land, galamsey represents a deeper wound, a failure of collective responsibility. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the fight against environmental degradation cannot be waged in silos. It demands a strong partnership between the executives, the legislature, the judiciary, the media, and civil society. Each arm of government and each institution must perform its constitutional role with integrity, accountability, and respect for the rule of law. When the media operates responsibly, with responsibility, the judiciary with impartiality, and the executive with transparency, the foundation of our democracy remains firm and unshakable.
Now, still on the GJA Awards, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfo, called for the establishment of special courts to speed up the trial of illegal mining offenders as a deterrent to others.
Illegal mining, or galamsey, remains one of the gravest challenges.
Apologies for that technical hitch. We'll bring you that sound much later. But let's move on. And the Forestry Commission in the Western North region is stepping up efforts to combat illegal mining in forest reserves and water bodies. Well, a routine inspection by the Rapid Response Team of the Forestry Commission along the Boyne River Reserve led to the interception and destruction of 14 Shangfang machines, 19 pumping machines, and several other illegal mining tools. The team also intercepted and impounded a bus loaded with passengers who were found deep inside the forest reserve. The exercise formed part of ongoing efforts to restore and protect forest reserves and water bodies. Well, let's bring you a sound from Joe Apia Frimpong, who is the forestry manager.
My men went on patrols, about 5 of them went on patrol on motorbikes in the forest reserve. And Omushia VIP bus, I load over 50 young energetic men transport to Omondioma Cote d'Ivoire portion, which they also intelligently know say reserve no normal they are almost target almost copy campo Cote d'Ivoire, so they have to return them. Meanwhile, there was a migration checkpoint at Yakesi area, that is a route almost fast, so they have to return them, and then we have to speak to the immigration command that in fact it's a threat to our forest, so we will also allow them to pass through the forest and go.
Now, away from illegal mining, it's a story of bright promise and swift decay from Sekondi Takoradi. Just a few years ago, a new commuter train service linked Sekondi and Takoradi, offering a faster, cheaper alternative to the area's traffic and a boost to its economy. But that service has now totally collapsed, leaving behind a silent rail track and a legacy of broken promises. Irama Smith has more.
The rumble of wheels on steel and the deep blast of its horn evokes memories of Ghana's railway heyday in the 1970s and 80s. For the older generation, there is a wave of nostalgia. For the young, a novel adventure with children boarding in wide-eyed excitement. This was a revived Sekondi Takoradi line, not merely a track, but the birthplace of Ghana's railway system, originally built to transport minerals to the coast. Commissioned with ceremony by President John Dramani Mahama, promised harbour residents a reliable and affordable commute. With brand new trains and fares capped at a few cities, patronage grew steadily, heralding what many hoped was a renaissance for rail travel in Ghana. Passenger service was entirely dependent on freight revenue, and the haulage of manganese from Nsuta was its financial lifeline. The deterioration of these freight lines and the subsequent halt of manganese trains crippled the company's finances. This collapse revealed a critical systemic flaw. The passenger service was not economically viable on its own. Consequently, by 2020, with its freight backbone gone, the diesel multiple unit DMUs at Second-D were silenced.
From Kwame Nkrumah's time and even through a champion's time, railways have always received subvention from government for operations. This is what we came to meet and work with. So it is government who determines the fare for rail transport, and we use that to buy fuel, but this is not forthcoming. Before the elections in 2016, we were working, but this came to a halt in 2016 because the government said it would not pay any subvention.
Today, the two terminals stand as pale shadows of their former selves. In Second-D, the diesel multiple unit DMUs sit idle and scavenged, their copper pipes and air conditioning units stripped away. Passenger bays lie open to the elements, their roofs torn apart, while weeds and rust claim the tracks. The scene at Kojokrom is equally desolate. A terminal built for the hassle of commuters now stands frozen in time, a stark monument to neglect. Together, these sites paint a poignant picture of decline, symbolizing a cycle that has plagued Ghana's railways, ambitious launches that inevitably fade into abandonment.
For now, the railway system
The passenger train system's inefficiency has made Kojokrom less vibrant than it used to. If the government wants to leave a lasting legacy, it should complete our train service. A majority of students along the train line relied on this service to get to school. Now, it has become a white elephant.
According to Second-D railway workers, the government's decision to prioritize the construction of the passenger-only Eastern Line over the Western Line represents a critical misallocation of resources.
I cannot understand why the rail line to Nsuta has been abandoned. Second-D is the headquarters of the railways, so we have the workforce. If the government focused its attention on reviving this line to haul manganese from Nsuta, we could even expand the service and employ more.
Emmanuel, a railway worker, describes government's decision to transfer rail workers from the Western to the Eastern corridor as a betrayal of the Western workforce.
It is so it should maintain the workers here, build the Western corridor for us.
Notwithstanding these challenges, information gathered by TV3 News confirms that government has approved the dismantling of the historic narrow-gauge line between Takoradi Port and Takwa. Member of Parliament for Sikado Ketan and Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa, a passionate advocate for the development of the Second-D Takoradi metropolis, believes reviving the Western Rail Line would significantly help decongest the region's roads.
I think there are two things in the Western Region Metro. Is the Western Line as well as the port. If we have a port and you have a railway line that is bringing all your goods and services in and out of the port, I think it will be very helpful, and also decongest our roads and let our roads last longer, decongest traffic, let movement flow, and then our goods and services can move by the rail and the port.
passenger revival is directly tied to this expansion. Restoring the line to Takwa would reconnect mining towns to the port and create a compelling case for frequent suburban service. More connected towns mean higher ridership and greater fare revenue, creating a far more sustainable model than the previous shuttle. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Kojokum.
In other news this afternoon, the Deputy Chief of Staff at the Presidency, Nanaoye Bampoado, says government is committed to increasing female enrollment into the Ghana Armed Forces GAF. Speaking at the 25th anniversary of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, she noted that this is part of efforts to meet the United Nations Security Council target on women's participation in peace and security.
The 25th anniversary of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 brought together key stakeholders to assess the impact of UNSCR 1325 and redefine its relevance to gender, peace and security within Ghana and the West African sub-region.
The Ghana Armed Forces will reflect the decorum and disciplined attitude that we seek to see in civilians, and as officers, you will live by the slogan, professionalism, discipline, being your bedrock. At this point, I commend very highly the leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces for your swift action regarding the recent dishonorable conduct of one of your officers that was captured on tape.
The Chief of the Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ejapon, highlighted the strides made by the Ghana Armed Forces in promoting women's empowerment, leadership and inclusion, especially in peacekeeping operations. He reaffirmed the military's commitment to advancing women's participation in peace processes and ensuring their protection in conflict and post-conflict environments.
The Ghana Armed Forces takes immense pride in the strides they have made over the years in promoting the women, peace and security agenda. Ghana Forces has demonstrated that inclusiveness enhances effectiveness. We have seen significant increases in women participation in peacekeeping, leadership and technical roles. Ghanaian women soldiers, sailors and air personnel continue to distinguish themselves in United Nations missions in various international engagements.
The celebration of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 marks a significant milestone in advancing women's role in global peace and security. The Ghana Armed Forces reiterated its commitment in leading by example and creating a gender-responsive military institution. The event was held under the theme Embracing the Future of Women, Peace and Security for a Gender-Responsive Ghana Armed Forces.
You're still watching Weekend Central right here on TV3. We're going for a very first break. We'll be back with more news. Don't go away.
In the beginning, life feels heavy. But then, hope arrives. Star 446# saves you in the Dewa Chop Money Draw at 10 a.m.
Congratulations!
The data also reveals 37% of senior high school students having been exposed to the use of drugs. The Vicar General and moderator of the Kumasi Archdiocese, Very Reverend Dr. Louis Kofi Tufo, has called for joint efforts to tackle drug abuse among youth, emphasizing the need for a collaborative approach to address this growing concern.
Once in a while, people use drugs. Drugs meaning something that is used to cure a disease, an illness, and they turn it into an abuse substance. And that abuse, you call it abuse substance because if they continue to use it, it will hurt their bodies. It will hurt them. So you start with education. The children want to try everything and know what the truth in it. The sanctions are already there. It is up to the law enforcers to apply the sanctions. We don't need new laws. They know that if you carry a certain amount of marijuana or cocaine or whatever, these are the sanctions.
Now, the Ghana Health Service, GHS, has emphasized the need for more harmonized partnerships to improve health outcomes in the country. Speaking at the GHS Partners meeting in Accra, Director General Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoyura noted that while partnerships have been instrumental in advancing public health in Ghana, there are concerns about the current development architecture.
As we deepen our collaboration, we must also be honest about the shifts we observe in the development of the ecosystem. Movement from funding Ghana Health Service-led programs to direct partner implementation. And I take this again. That we must be honest to recognize this. And one is the movement from funding Ghana Health Service-led programs to direct partner implementation. These shifts, while well-intentioned, have consequences. They weaken national ownership, they distort national priorities, and create parallel systems that are difficult to sustain. Ghana Health Service is transitioning into a new era of accountability, efficiency, and system leadership. And our development architecture must evolve with it.
Now, the acting registrar of the Allied Health Professionals Council, Dr. Shirazu Isahaku, has revealed that over 30,000 graduates of allied health professions remain unemployed across the country. He was speaking at the induction and oath-swearing ceremony of 10,000 newly qualified allied health graduates at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Over the years, you are right, we graduate an average of about 10,000 allied health professionals into the system. Since 2019, we've never had financial clearance for them to start work. But the current government has assured us that next year, 2026, we will get a significant number of our people employed by the system. And I'm counting on all those who are home, are not working. Ensure that your PIN is active, register with the council, renew your PIN, and get ready for a potential possible employment next year, 2026. The average number will be, I guess, about 10,000 of them will join. This is the second batch. The first batch was in Accra, was a little over 6,000 thereabout, and this is just a little, even though under 3,000, but we have those that are only going to join us who are not part of the graduation as now. They have done what we call upgradement, and after agreement you don't do induction. So if you add those numbers together, you get about 10,000. So finance has asked for our list, and we've made those lists available to the ministry, and the promise is that a minimum of half of that number, so far we have close to 30,000 of our members are actually unemployed, and as you rightly said, they have issues with it, and they always go to the ministry. We can assure them that 2026, at least half of that number will be employed by the government.
Let's do some more stories now. And in a country where traffic alone can delay an ambulance, emergencies in Ghana often test more than just medical skill. They test the system itself. Every day, people walk into hospitals believing their condition is an emergency. But what exactly counts as one? And how ready is Ghana's emergency response system when it truly matters?
Many Ghanaians think of emergencies as anything sudden, a headache, abdominal pain, or malaria that worsens overnight. But for trained emergency nurses, not all urgent cases are emergencies in the medical sense.
For you to be able to categorize what an emergency is from what is not an emergency, we have something we call the triaging criterion. A very nice algorithm that doctors and nurses or healthcare providers use to be able to get to know that this particular person needs an immediate attention, otherwise the person is going to die or would actually need delayed treatment. The fact that you came earlier than someone else doesn't mean that we should be able to help you first. We look at the triaging criterion and then we give you numbers or give you codes. The codes are color coded. So red, green, yellow. Red meaning that you need treatment. We should be able to help you to be able to come out of the situation, otherwise you're going to die. Then the next one is within 10 to 50 minutes. Some people would say 1 hour. So within the next 1 hour you need treatment, and then the other, which is green, it can even be delayed. We can even tell you to go to the outpatient department.
Emergency nursing in Ghana is a growing specialty. These are not ordinary nurses. They are trained to assess, stabilize and manage patients in critical condition before a doctor steps in.
We have emergency medicine physicians. We also have emergency nurses that have been trained specifically to handle emergency situations. And basically, if you have any health professional, the person should be able to give some level of emergency care. But we train these people specially for these situations because there are certain skills that needs to be acquired in order to be able to give prompt attention to emergency situations. That's the focus of the training, so that they are able to give this training to both doctors and nurses to become specialists in emergency situations. And yes, Ghana, we have such training going on.
They are the first line of defense in life-threatening situations, from accident victims to stroke patients. In many hospitals, one emergency nurse may attend to multiple critical cases at a time. To strengthen Ghana's emergency care system, officials from the Ghana Health Service say several measures are being put in place to improve the country's emergency response system. The goal is sustainability.
We should train all our health workers, but that step has been taken, and we've trained 104 people, and we intend to train more people. And as I said, staff welfare is also of my greatest concern. So we are also rolling out a program on fitness to practice. We do recognize that they sometimes also have their own issues, and those have to be addressed before they can give quality of care. So we are doing a comprehensive package to support the health service delivery in the country.
But even with better training, the system still faces hurdles, limited ambulances, poor road networks and public misunderstanding. That education, doctors say, is crucial. Because while some rush to the hospital with emergencies, they really are not emergencies.
The main thing is that you need to explain to them. The explanation is very important, because if you do not explain to them, they would probably think that you are neglecting them. Meanwhile, you have another patient who, if you do not attend to, might die within the next or some few minutes. So basically, that misunderstanding comes in when you do not have communication. So communication is very important.
But how do Ghanaians describe emergencies, and what have your experiences been like?
For me, I don't normally go to the government sector. I go to the private sector. Why? Because with the government sector, you have to wait and wait and wait. So I prefer the private sector. They listen to you, they give you the attention you need, and it's like you are attended to in time. And with that experience, I'm okay with it.
So when I get to the hospital, it depends on those you meet there. See, sometimes when you get there, somebody will be like they don't know you, then they will start, at least it's like they attend to those they know and those that they don't know. sometimes they will let you sit there and then wait. Sometimes you even get there and they will tell you that there's no doctor.
The recent training of over 100 nurses to train others could be a turning point for how quickly and effectively emergency cases are handled across the country. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
This is Weekend Central. We're going for a second break. We'll be back with more news. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now, the new Durban South Municipal Chief Executive Ransford Wosubuache says fixing the municipality's infrastructure deficit is key to boosting socioeconomic development. He spoke on the sidelines of the groundbreaking ceremony for a number of projects aimed at improving living standards in the municipality.
An old community health planning services would be replaced with a modern facility at Agavenia to deliver primary health care services. According to the Municipal Health Director, Eunice Ebuaku, projects as this help improve access to quality health care for residents in line with Sustainable Development Goal 4.
Apologies for that, but let's do some more stories, and we're heading now to Atikpui in the whole municipality of the Volta region, where residents continue to draw water from unwholesome sources amidst increasing cases of typhoid infections. Correspondent Faisal Abdul-Idrisu reports that residents are appealing to government to extend clean potable water to the community.
Access to potable drinking water has been an age-long problem that has confronted residents of Atikpui. The community, located on the extreme end of the eastern borders of the whole municipality, depends on the untreated Vuto stream, serving as the most reliable source of water for residents. This is the only water we have, but people swim in it and do all kinds of things with it. Even our household latrines are closer to the stream, and it is exposed to all kinds of impurities.
Even the color will tell you that its impurity level is very high, in the sense that that's the only water we fetch to drink, wash our things, even cook with. And most of the times, people even bath in it.
The state of the community's water resources is believed to be accountable for a surge in typhoid and cholera cases among residents lately.
Our cases here regarding to typhoid fever has been alarming. When clients come to the facility, we do malaria tests for them. It turns out to be negative. Then, because of the signs and symptoms that looks like typhoid fever, we refer them to the lab at home to go and do the test. When they come back with the result, it turned out to be positive. So we can boldly say that our source of water, which is the Vuto stream, has been the cause of the typhoid fever.
When we go to the health facility, they caution us against the use of the Vuto stream because we are exposed to all kinds of diseases, but we do not have a choice. In 2022, a group of students from the US attempted resolving the challenge by drilling a mechanized borehole in the community, but the problem still persists.
It's not enough for us. Looking at the population of this community, it's only a few people, and then the rest will still go back to the main source, of which we are avoiding.
During the outdooring of Togbiga Yao Aji IV, the paramount chief for Atikpui, the chiefs and elders made a special appeal to government.
If you see a community that cannot even boast on potable drinking water, then it's an apology. So with this chief, our appeal to government is that we have a very stable community to be given a potable drinking water.
Without a clean drinking water, residents fear the worst may happen as far as their health is concerned. Faisal Abdul-Idrisu, TV3 News.
And that's all for Regional Hub. We're going for a short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's do some sports. And the much anticipated super clash between Accra Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko comes off at 4 p.m. at the Accra Sports Stadium. With both teams currently unbeaten in the Ghana Premier League, fans are unrelenting in their belief that their respective teams will win.
Kotoko for now looks a better team than Accra Hearts of Oak, honestly. Hearts of Oak, they claim they haven't lost a match yet, but the point is, when you play 10 matches and you play 10 draws, you get 10 points. If you play 10 matches, you win 5 and you lose 5, you get 15 points. So Kotoko can be losing. Asfo can boast of being unbeaten, but when you lose 5 and you win 5, you get 15. 10 draws give you 10 points. So I prefer to lose 5 and win 5 than to, this is the arithmetic. To me, I disagree. The point is, Kotoko stands a better chance of winning.
It's going to be Accra Hearts of Oak. You know, we're already beating them at Legon. The best performance for Kotoko will be a draw. They are not winning this particular Sunday. Hearts is winning. We are beating them by 2-0.
Oh, Hearts do my emule. Kotoko be beat match on 2-1.
Hearts the Kotoko de bla. We chinye bi ani ho. Hearts be she Kotoko be 3.
And I idea Kotoko be winning. Because bibia ni wonu me chese Hearts of Oak betimi ahye.
Kotoko ni has there. Na Kotoko de so madeda. Kotoko ada. Kotoko do mada bozu.
Dentra Kotoko no bada ben. Oso okuma pem beba. Nanso so yen cramp for your child said oak tree never die. Ah, Rosa, Rose. Be quiet and not be silly. We are the famous Asofo. We never say die. We never say die.
Now, the coach of the Porcupine Warriors, Abdul Karim Zito, admits it is one of the most difficult fixtures, but his game plan is to capitalize on the weaknesses of the Accra Hearts of Oak. Meanwhile, coach of the Phobians, Didi Dramani, acknowledges that Asante Kotoko are tough opponents with experience.
Hearts of Oak and Kotoko, everybody knows how the game is. It is one of the best and one of the most difficult game of between the two. So everybody wants to win, just as we are going there with the mindset of winning. So it's like you plan against the best side of your opponent and then capitalize on the weaker side. So this is what we are doing in short to meet Hearts of Oak. Didi is a fantastic coach. We beat him one. He also had us during the gala. So this is the third one to prove to him that maybe the gala, as I said, to me the top 4, it wasn't, the timing was very bad for Kotoko. Automatically, we are going there with a mindset of beating him at the end of the day.
I think that Kotoko is a prevailing side, and Kotoko you can believe that has been very tough opponent, all year, and then they have the experience and they have the pedigree of depth in squad, and you need to acknowledge that, and every team can concede, and every team has its strengths and they have their weaknesses. Definitely we will work against our strengths, and then we will work against the weakness of the opponent, and then we will try to respect the strength of the opponent, and then try to try as much as possible to control, when the opponent is strong in an aspect. But I see it just to be one of the games, and then I see it to be an important game and an important feature in terms of what we want to do in the season, and so it's one of the league features, and then we want to remain very sustainable.
And that's all we have for you for Weekend Central today. Don't forget to stay tuned, because Hot Issues is happening right after the news, 1 p.m. right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. Do stay tuned for the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.
If Ghana doesn't pass the mutual evaluation because people are bringing debt.